Hey guys, it's Shannon, and this is Shannon On Demand, where we show you how to take demand of your business to demand a better life. All right, guys, today we are going to give you some tips on how to get your nonprofit ready for grants. If you want to know how to get your nonprofit ready for a grant, then you might want to stick around. All right, guys, every time you turn around, you're hearing somebody say, we just got a grant, we just got a grant, we just got a grant. But do you know what's necessary, right, to be grant ready? I'm telling you, you have to be grant ready. Now, remember, the first thing you have to do is just form a nonprofit, right? Form a nonprofit, file those articles of incorporation with your local authority, which is probably your Secretary of State in whichever state you're in. And remember, just because you filed those articles of incorporation or the certificate of formation does not mean that you're tax exempt. It's the tax exempt status that's gonna, make you eligible for the grant funding, right? So you have to get that 501c3. There's just no way around it. And most grants are going to want to see the proof that you are a 501c3. So if you're in the nonprofit world, there's just nowhere around, getting your nonprofit to the next level if you don't have that 501c3. Okay? Now, the next thing is that you have to be able to show capacity. What does that mean? Well, capacity means that your nonprofit is actually going to be able to pull off what you're saying you can do. So if a specific grant is asking you to perform a specific service, then you have to show that your organization's capacity is there in order to fulfill what they want. Now, when someone gives you a grant, right, they're not expecting a monetary return for that, but they are expecting their name to be associated with an organization that's actually doing what their mission says they can do, that's actually doing and having an impact on the community. So how do you know if your organization has the capacity to do it? Well, do you have the necessary people on board to do it? Do these people have the necessary credentialing to do it? Do you have to outsource certain things? Do you have to, just ask someone outside of your organization, hey, can you help me do X, Y, and Z? Whatever the case may be, you have to be able to show capacity, that your organization is able to do it. Now, the next thing is that your organization has to remain in good standing across the board. And what that means is that you have to be filing your annual reports on time with your local authority or your Secretary of State. Whatever date you filed your articles is usually going to be the date that that annual report is due. When you're trying to get a grant and you're not in good standing, you can forget it. I mean, how can you handle monies and being able to budget and doing all of these kinds of things if your regulatory requirements and your compliance issues, are not being met? So remember that. The next thing that you have to do with your 501c3 is remember to file those 990s. Now, you're tax exempt, and I know that I've said this in previous videos, so you're not filing taxes. You're not filing a tax return. What you're doing is you're filing an informational report. And the informational report is basically letting the IRS know how much you received, where you received it from, and how you spent it. So it's just a way of having some kind of accountability. If you don't file those 990s for 3 consecutive years in a row, your 501c3 status will be revoked. And we don't want that to happen, right? No, we do not want that to happen. Getting that 501c3 is a process. And once you've gone through that process, just don't do it. Next, how is your organization going to spend the funding? Did you properly budget? Now, remember, a lot of times you're estimating what's going on, right? You have to give them an approximation, an estimation of what's going on. But here's the thing. Are you being realistic? Right? Why are you going to put $1 million down on anything knowing that you're not $1 million nonprofit yet? Please be realistic. A lot of times the grants will say the maximum that you can request is $1.5 million, and all you need is $250,000. Be realistic in your budgeting. Be realistic in your requests, because I'm gonna tell you something. Funders can see straight through all of that. They can see straight through it. So anyway, but the main thing in order to be grant ready is to make sure that your program is ready. So you need to do some serious program development if you haven't done that already. And what is program development? Program development means you know what's going on with your program from start to finish. You know how you're going to acquire clients, and you understand how your clients are going to be moving through the program. And in previous videos, we've talked about it, and it's worthy of being mentioned again. I cannot stress enough program development, capacity building, sustainability. When you start getting into the grant sector, these are some words and some terms that you're going to hear over and over and over again. So it is extremely important that your program have its foundational pieces laid out first before we start moving into wanting grant funding. Now just remember, you can have more than one grant working together to help you accomplish your goal. But before you can do that, you need to make sure, first of all, that your nonprofit is even viable, right? And the only way to do that is program development and making sure that all your T's are crossed, all your I's are dotted. I'm going to leave you some information in the description below if you need to contact me. Maybe we can get us a little one-on-one going if you need some program development, and making sure that you've got all of these pieces in place so that we can help propel you forward, keep you there, right? And make sure that you're constantly growing and expanding. So guys, what I need you to do, as always, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe, hit that bell so that you'll know every time we upload. Leave us a comment. Please feel free to share this with anyone that may need the information. But most importantly, we thank you guys for coming back and just supporting us in what we're doing, trying to get the information out. So again, this is Shannon, and it's Shannon On Demand out.